Hey everyone, it's time to continue on with our section 3 for Red, White, and Bloom. Hi everyone, Cristin Som here, and we have all of section 2 complete. And we also have a whole bunch of other blocks for future sections. So we've got our watermelon blocks, both of them, and we have the pop bottle blocks, I don't recall what they're called, and the star blocks, lots of the star blocks. So we have one regular blue one, we already used one of them, and then we have the 4 corner blocks for when we do our outer borders. So we also have our firefly jars. Did you do your firefly jars? These were so cute. So some people chose to do these with crystals instead of making the holes for the fairy lights, and that is great too. Absolutely no problem. Whatever works for you. Super cute. So we are really jamming along. So let's keep going. We are going to do, I was going to do a simple block, and then I decided I really like having all these extra blocks ready for future sections. So we're going to keep with that. So we need one of the firework blocks for section 3. And so we actually can do all 3 of them if you're working ahead like I am. So the firework block is on page 22. And like I said, we only need one of them. So if you have a time crunch today, you can just work on one of them and work on the other 2 later, or you can do them all together. So knowing me, I am going to bring you over to the computer after we're done here, and we'll talk about how to join them in. I haven't prepped that yet. I'm not sure, but I know that the final cut size is 4.5 by 6.5, so I'll probably do my 9 by 14 hoop, but I'll check and see where we're at. All right, so there's quite a few things in here actually, and I don't already have them in order, so let me do that real quick here. So we're going to start with our main fabric. All 3 of these are so fun for the main fabric. So look at that. Oh my gosh, isn't that so fun? So this is the first one. This is Firework 1. I'm not sure which one we need for section 3. I should take a quick peek in case you only have time to work on one. So the one that we are going to do, oh good, it's that one. So this is Firework 1 is going to be for section 3. So this is our main fabric, and we are going to start with this, I believe 6.5 by 8.5. Yep, 6.5 by 8.5, backed with Fusible stabilizer. You definitely want to back your main fabric with Fusible stabilizer so that you can ward off puckers. So 6.5 by 8.5, and if you're doing all 3 like I am, I'm going to go ahead and go over all of those parts. So let me just make a little space. So the second one, Firework 2, is the light blue with the fireworks on it. So fun. Did you see the detail? So look at the stripes and the little dots. So fun. So these stripes, oh my gosh, they are. I just realized that. So the stripes are actually from Candy Cane Lane, I think. It's a fabric. It's a Kimberbell fabric. And down here in the corner, you can't really see it, but that's a Kimberbell fabric. Regular dots, I don't know if those are Kimberbell. They might be. But anyway, how fun. So that is really cool. So if you look at the fabrics on the fireworks, they are Kimberbell fabrics. So this looks like that houndstooth that they have. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I just realized that. Okay, so that's Fabric 1 and Fabric 2. This is Fabric 2, the main fabric for Fabric 2, or for Firework 2, I should say. And then Firework 3 is the white one with all of the fireworks and starbursts and whatever, stars. So cute. So here's that one I was showing you. That's got that blue plaid. That's one of our Kimberbell fabrics that we've used quite a bit. So very fun. So that's number 3. Again, backed with Fusible stabilizer. This white one especially, make sure that you've got these backed with Fusible stabilizer. So all 3 of the main fabrics are going to be 6.5 by 8.5, and this is the one that we need for today, if you only have time to do one. All right, so 6.5 by 8.5 on our main fabric, and then we have applique glitter. Oh, these are so fun. So there are, let's see, white applique glitter. This is what we're going to need today. This is 3 by 4 of the white applique glitter. This is for the firework body. And like I've always mentioned in all of my videos, make sure that you take off that topping. It's really important to take off the topping. Aren't you so impressed? I did it on a video. I usually have so much trouble. So This is that sticky topping, and you don't want that on there. You only want to put on your glitter. You can take it off now, or you can take it off right before you use it. I usually do it right before I use it, just so I can make sure to add it in the photos to remind you to take it off. But each of the applique glitters, you're going to want to take the topping off. And don't add stabilizer or anything like that, of course, to glitter. Leave it as is. We will iron it down and everything, and I'll go over all of that. So 3x4 for the white applique glitter for the Firework body. And then for number 2, Firework 2, not for this first one, for Firework 2, we're going to have the blue applique glitter, and that one is 3x4 also. 3x4 for all of the Firework body applique glitters. All right, and then the last one is also blue, so 2 pieces of blue that are 3x4, and this is that glitter, so you're going to take that topping off. And then all 3 of them have the, what do we call it, the Firework tip. All 3 of them are red applique glitter, and these are 2.5x2. 2.5x2 for your red applique glitter. This applique glitter, I can say that, honest. Oh my goodness. So red applique glitter Firework tip, all right, and in 2.5x2, so 3 of these, one for each Firework 1, Firework 2, Firework 3 of our projects, depending on how many you're going to do. All right, and then let's see any specifics. There's no special cut instructions or anything. These are going to be very easy, actually, very easy. So there's just the 2 applique pieces, and they're glitter vinyl, so easy to use. So we are going to need our batting, probably 5x7. Yep, 5x7 for our batting, because our final cut size is 4.5 by 6.5. So 3 pieces of batting, depending on how many you're doing. If you're doing just one, obviously you just need 1 piece of batting at this point. I'm going to work on all 3 so that we can get ahead. Don't you love doing that? It's going to be so fun when we get to the end and we're like, oh, this whole section we just had to do like a couple of filler blocks or something. It'll be pretty cool. So 3 pieces of batting, that's 5x7. And then let's see on the quilting. Okay, so on the quilting, the first one, actually Patriotic 2, you know what? It's Patriotic 2 on all 3 of them. That's our quilting for all 3 of them is Patriotic 2 in a 4x6. 4x6 quilting design, Patriotic 2. All right, and that is in the bundle of the quilting that's available for red, white, and blue. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring you over to the computer, and like I said, I haven't already prepped it to see what fits, so we'll do that together and see what works. My big embroidery machine is actually in the shop. It was being very angry with me yesterday, and so it got to go in for a spa day. And so so I don't have my biggest hoop available. I have my dream machine available, which is a great machine, and so I'll probably use my 9x14 hoop. I don't think we'll need bigger than that. You could probably even do smaller. If you think about, like, if you did it sideways, 4, 4, 4, that's 12 inches, so an 8x12 would be extremely tight because of the fabric being larger. The fabric is 6.5 by 8.5, so my preference is going to be the 9x14. I'm just visualizing this right now, and I'll take you over to the machine and we'll see how it looks. But I'm thinking if your biggest is an 8x12, you might want to just do 2 in one hooping and do 1 separately, or you could certainly do all 3 and just watch those fabrics and make sure that they're not going over each other. So anyway, let's go ahead and go over to the computer, and I'll show you what will work for Embrilliance Essentials. Hey everyone. All right, so I am at my computer now. I am going to open up Embrilliance Essentials. If you are new to embroidery software, I use Embrilliance Essentials. If you're in the market for it, please use my link, my affiliate link to purchase. If you use a different software, the technique that I use should transfer over to whatever you're using. I'm not sure. I do get people asking me questions about other softwares, and I don't know the answer to that, so you'll have to figure out what works for you based on what I am teaching in Embrilliance Essentials. All right, so when you first open it up, you can see down here it says I'm on my 8x12 hoop. I'm going to go ahead and change that to my 9x14 because, like I mentioned, I think 8x12 would be really tight. It can be done, but it would stress me out to worry about the fabrics overlapping. All right, so I'm going to go to this preferences folder, and I'm going to look for my 9x14 hoop right there and say okay. Excuse my phone. And then I'm going to go up to this compass button and hit the H button so it zooms into my hoop so that I can see just how much I can add in. All right, so then I'm going to start by bringing in the quilting design. So I'm going to go to this merge stitch file button right here. And I'm going to close up my Oh So Delightful that I was working on earlier. And here's Red, White, and Bloom with our sponsor, Southern Stitchers Needlepoint. And here's the quiltings. This is on my desktop, wherever. It's just asking you where you have it on your computer so that it can open it for you. All right, and so actually I don't have Patriotic 2, or I do. Oh, good. Patriotic 2, Kimberbell Quilting embroidery files, block by block is the technique we're using, and Pez is what I use for my machine. And we're looking for a 4x6 quilting design. Right there, double click on that and it will go to the center. All right, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate it. Yeah, I think we have enough room that you could actually leave it. I'm going to rotate it. I think that will make it easy. So this button right here, there's a rotate left, rotate right. It doesn't matter. As you can see, all of the designs go both ways, so it's not going to matter which one you choose. I'm going to choose left. And then I'm going to click outside of the box. We learned in yesterday's tutorial that once you rotate it, you can't move it with the keys on your keyboard, with the arrow keys on your keyboard, unless you click outside somewhere on the workspace and then click on the design again, and then you can move it up. So I'm just using the arrow keys on my keyboard to bring it up. And before I do a copy and paste, you can see we've got these blues and oranges that we usually do. So I'm going to quickly change those. So I'm going to click on this first one, 1-1, click on the color, and then the first color that comes up for me is dark aqua. It doesn't matter what color you choose, as long as you do the same ones on all three of them. And since we're going to do a copy and paste, it's not going to be a problem. So I'm clicking on dark aqua and saying okay, and then 1-2. I'm going to click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is Blaze. And then 1-3, click on the color, and we already used dark aqua, so I'm going to use the next color down, which is Marine. And then 1-4, you can see the numbers over here. I'm going to click on the color, and we already used Blaze, so I'm going to use Oriole and say okay. And then I'm probably going to use a different thread color for each of the quilting, so I'm going to change this on all three. So once you do a copy and paste, you may forget about that. So I just want to point out to remember if you've decided to change the colors. One of them is on a dark blue, one's on a light blue, and one's on white. So I will very likely, unless you did like gray, I'm going to use, or even red, you could do red on all three of them. I'm going to change it so that I can decide at the time. So I'm going to click on 1-5, click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is Sprout, and I'm going to say okay. All right, so now I clicked outside of it. You want to make sure that you have all of it. So I closed this folder. You can close the folder, or you can click and drag up. If you were to close the folder and click on this, then it automatically gets all 5 parts. You just want to make sure you have all 5 parts so that you can do a copy and paste. And when I say all 5 parts, I'm showing it here. So this is the 5 parts of the quilting design. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say Control-C like copy on my keyboard, and then Control-V like victory to paste. And it goes right on top of the other one. So you can't see, it doesn't look like you have 2 of them, but you can see here that now we have 2 designs. All right, here's 1 and 2. All right, so that means if we just click on it and drag it down, it's already clicked on, so I can just move my arrow keys, and then I can use the black squares to line it up in the center so that it looks like we're not going to have a whole lot of room. That 8x12 and 9x14, it's not a whole lot actually. There still will be a little bit of overlap, so we will still have to worry about that. You could certainly use your 10x16 hoop if you have larger, a 10x10 if you did 2, 2, and 1 side by side long ways, and then long rotated at the bottom, that would work. So whatever works for you. Like I said, I don't have access to my 10x10 and 10x16 hoop right now because that machine is in the repair shop. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just keep going, and I'll just worry about this overlap and just pay attention closely as I work on it. So I've already copied from before, and so I'm going to just hit Control V like victory to paste again. And again, it goes over that top first one, but you can see here that we have 3 designs. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one and bring it all the way down to the bottom. You can use your mouse key, your mouse button, your mouse. You can use your mouse to move it, or you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard, either way. And you're just making sure that you can see those black squares. If they go too far, you won't be able to see the black squares, and that tells you that you're pretty low, and if you don't want to be over your hoop at all. All right, so you can see there's not very much room here, and not very much at all. I'm going to bring this one down just a bit more. So I will have to be paying attention because there will be some overlap, but this will be fine. Not a big deal. If you did the 9x9, I'm going to do that real quick just in case. Why not try it, right? Just to see if, well, 9, no, that wouldn't work. Maybe. I'm going to try it. It'll take a second. Hold on here. So if I go to File, New Page, so here I've got a new page. I can go to my Preferences folder, and I'm going to click on my 9x9 hoop. I have access to my 9x9, but not my 10x10. And then I'm clicking on this H button in the compass. And then if I go back to this first one, I can click on any of these designs and say Control C. I actually didn't need to do that because it was still copied from before. And then Control V like victory to paste. And if I were to, it's not going to have enough room, I don't think. Let's just try. So if I bring one of them down, I was trying to picture if I had one down here and 2 up here, but that's not going to give me enough space. No, that won't work. So don't bother trying 9x9. Your 9x14 or your 10x16 is going to be your best bet. So I'm going to close this Untitled 2, that second tab, and I'm just going to work off of this one. So I've got all 3. They are already color sorted, so that's all perfect. Or not, sorry, not color sorted. We've already changed the colors and done our copy and paste, so that's all perfect. So now we need to bring in the actual firework design. So if we go here to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to close out my quilting, and then my embroidery files are right there. Pez is the one I saved. And let's see, if I just click on the quilt, they will populate. All right, and we're looking for the firework design. Oh, there's different ones. That's interesting. Why are there only 2? All right, so that's interesting. So there's 2 of them, but we need 3 blocks. So the first one on that dark blue fabric is Firework 1, and then Firework 2 and 3 will be with the one facing to the left. That's how we know the difference. One is facing to the right, and the other 2 will be facing to the right. One is facing to the left. Did I say that right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and double click on this first one. We know that we want it to go on this first one up here. That's going to be that dark blue fabric. So we're going to need to rotate it. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate it left because you want that first one with the firework going to the right. All right, and right now it's on our center one, but I want it up here on this first one. And then these 2 will both have the firework that's facing to the left. All right, so what I'm going to do here, we've done it before. I'm going to close this. So we've got blue, electric blue, blue. We've got this default blue twice. So that actually will be a problem. Let's see here. Yeah, both of these. Because if we don't change one of these colors, then it will join those 2. It will join 4-3 and 4-5. So I'm going to go ahead and click on 4-5, and I'm going to just change that one color because we already changed all the other default blues. We should be fine. So this is going to our sea green. We didn't use that. We used Sprout. So I'm going to click on sea green. Oh, you know what? We didn't remember to change the quilting. I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to go back to that now before we forget again. All right, I'm just going to close this one. So remember I mentioned on 2-5 and 3-5, we need to change the quilting color so that you can make that decision at the time, unless you're using the same color, because it will, once we do a color sort, it will join those, and then it will have to be all one color unless you're sitting there watching your machine to hit the stop button. So I'm on 2, which is the quilting design for number 2. And 2-5, I'm going to go ahead and click on the color and see there's our sea green. That's what made me think of it. I'm going to click sea green, the second color down, because we used sprout on the first one. I hope I'm not confusing you. The second color down for me is sea green. Whatever your second color down is what you want to be able to, it creates a stop. It will not join with number 1 now for that last part for 2-5. All right, so that one is done. Now number 3, open up number 3, and 3-5, same thing. We want to change the color. So I'm going to click on the color down here. We used sprout for number 1. We used sea green for number 2. So I'm going to go down here to mint and say, okay, that's just the color I'm using. It doesn't matter what color as long as they're different from 1 and 2 so that those don't join. All right, so those are done. I'm glad I remembered. Whoops, almost forgot. I hope you don't forget. All right, so then we have the thread color different on the 3 quilting designs. All right, and then we're back to number 4 here, and I'm going to open up this design, and remember we've got that blue twice. There's 4-3 and 4-5, and so I'm going to go ahead and just click on 4-5 and change. We should only need to change one of them, although we'll need to change it on the next 2 of the firework designs also. So we could just change. So you know what? I think we're gonna have black and Jubilee and blue. We're gonna have all of those. For this first one, it's not gonna matter because we're only doing one of them. But for the other 2, I think I'm gonna just change all of the colors on the firework 2 and 3, and well, just firework 2, because then we'll do a copy and paste. Okay. So let me see here. So actually we want the 3, we want those to join. Yes, we do. Forget that. Sorry, we're not going to do that. We'll save a little time here. So we really only have to change one of them because there is the default one blue twice. And if we don't change it, then those will join. So I'm going to go ahead and change number 4-5 right here. Click on the color, and we have to remember that we already used sea green and mint in our quilting design. So I'm going to jump down to Magic Mint, which is my 3rd color down. And yes, we use 3 colors, but look, if I scroll up a little bit, right before that sea green should be sprout. There's sprout. So these are the 3 colors that we used first in our quilting. And so now I'm coming down to, it's really our 4th color, but it comes down a little bit lower on this. So anyway, I'm using Magic Mint for 4-5 here. I'm going to say okay. So that's the only thing that we should have to change. So let's go ahead and close this. So one thing while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on, so notice that there's something highlighted, 4-5 is highlighted. So I'm going to just close this, click outside, and then on 1-1, I'm going to choose 1-1 for the quilting, and I'm going to choose 4. So if I hit the control button on my keyboard, it will select the first quilting and number 4, which is the firework, and we want to join those, or not join them, we want to align and distribute them in a way that it will center it. So I'm going to go to Utility and Align and Distribute, and we are on the Align tab, and I'm going to say Center, Center. It will likely move the entire design, but that's okay, we can move it back, but we want this firework centered with just this one quilting, not the others. So I'm saying apply, and you can see that that firework moved. So that was exactly what we wanted to happen. It looks like it came down maybe a tiny bit. While we have them both selected, yes, I'm going to just move it right back up, just one little notch. All right, so now 1 and 4 are done. Those are perfect, and they are centered and exactly how they should be with the firework going to the right. All right, on that first one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on just the firework. Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry, we only want one of that one. Forget it. We're not doing firework 1. We're going to bring in firework 2 now. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File. And let's see, where is it? Red, White, and Bloom Quilt right there. And it should be called Firework 2, I'm assuming. Let's see. Yep, right there. So Firework 2. So see, that first one went to the right and the second one goes to the left. So we want that one. Double click on that. It will go to the center. We need to rotate it. And to rotate it, we have to click on the Firework design only. All right, just this design. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my left rotate button right here. so that you can see it's going to the left. Our fabric is going to be that way, everything but the firework is going to stay to the left. Now that one's already in the center, so you can see from the black squares, it's already centered perfectly in the block because we moved the quilting design to the exact center of the hoop. So if you didn't move that, then you would do the same thing that we did on the first one, and we'll do it on the third one, but we don't need to do it on the second one if you moved your quilting design to the center. All right, so, but we do have those same colors. So now notice if I open number 4 here, we have default black so that we can put down, we want to be able to put down these applique pieces and use the thread colors at the same time. It looks like we're going to use red on the white firework and the blue firework to outline it. And then we're going to use white to outline the red on the first one, but blue on the second two. And again, this is your quilt, your way. You can change these up, but you want to know ahead of time so that you know what to join. All right, that's going to be the important thing for the color sort. All right, so let's see. So we have black, that's going to stay the same on all 3, so we don't need to change that. Jubilee, that's the yellow for the firework at the end. That's going to be the same on all of them. And then we have this, which I said is going to be red on all of them, so we don't need to change that. We can keep it the same because we don't need a color stop. And then we have the outline is also going to be red. That's fine. And then we have, these are just the applique pieces. So this is that one that we changed, right? 5. Yep, we changed it to Magic Mint. But we don't want it to be Magic Mint because, like I said, that first one is going to be outlined in white and the second 2 are going to be outlined in red and blue, in a blue. So actually I don't want it to be Magic Mint. I want it to change. So I'm going to go ahead, it's going to be interesting for our color sort to see what this is going to do. But I'm going to go ahead and click on 5-5 and I'm going to click on the color and use a color we haven't used before. So I'm going to choose Cloud. All right, that's the 4th color down for me from the top that opens up here. So whatever yours is, that works fine. I'm choosing Cloud and saying okay. And then what is this one? That's that outline. So this same thing, we don't want this to be the same as this. We want it to be, it could be Cloud, no, because then it will join. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. So this is going to be important because, like I said, that first one is going to be in white and this one is going to be in blue. All right, and when I say that, it's just the thread color. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change it. I'm going to click on this and the first color that comes up for me is Monarch. So I'm changing it to Monarch. Okay, that one is done. Now I'm going to do a copy and paste. I actually want all of these to be the same because all of the thread colors are the same. The applique pieces are the same. The only thing that's different on this is the main fabric. The main fabric is different. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to close these so I can see them well. So I'm on number 5 here with the firework that's leaning toward the left. I'm going to say Control C to copy that firework 2 and then Control V like victory to paste it. All right, and then let's see, we have black, Jubilee. We've got all of these the same as 4 or 5. It's called 5, sorry. And that's what we want. We want those to be able to join. So that's all perfect. We can do all of those together. So one thing that we didn't do, we didn't have to move that middle one because it was already centered. But this third one, the third firework, is now on top of our second firework. So we need to make sure to move that down. So I'm just clicking on it and I'm bringing it down. And this one will be harder to get exactly right. You certainly could, but I'm going to go ahead and do that align. That makes it a little bit easier. I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to close this. So keep in mind that we are now working on the 3rd quilting and the 6th firework. All right, so 3 right here is our last quilting, and then hit your control button to select 2 items, and it has that last firework. So these 2 items are the ones that we want to align. So I'm going to go to Utility and Align and Distribute, and I'm going to say Center, Center. I'm on the Align tab. and you'll watch this firework move just a little bit. It won't be too much. Say apply and see it move down. All right, so that was done. That one's done. So all three of these, we've got our 3 quilting, we've got our 3 fireworks, and it should work out really well. It's going to be interesting because we changed, it's not all 3 fireworks, so it will probably create an interesting stop. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So right now we have 33 color steps. We should be able to bring that down by quite a bit, but I'm curious to see how it's going to do it because of that that number 5, I think it was, where we changed that one default blue. So I'm going to go to Utility Color Sort. And it says it reduced it by 18 color changes. Make sure that you have these same settings that I have. The tolerance level is at 0. The force position and RH are not selected so that you get the same results as me. And then make sure to click New View. It will open another tab. We're on Untitled 1 now. It will create an Untitled 2 tab so that we can see if it did everything that we want or if there's any changes that we need to make. So I'm going to click New View. There's our second tab. And now all of those designs. So here in Untitled 1, we've got 6 designs. In Untitled 3, they're all together now in one design. So let's go ahead and take a quick look and make sure that it did what we want it to do. Oh, look at that. It changed my hoop size. Why did it change my hoop size? I've never seen it do that. That's super odd. So you can see here that now we are the design is too large for our hoop because it changed our hoop. I don't know why it did that. Maybe I clicked on something by mistake. I didn't mean to, but I've never seen it do that before. So I'm going to go back to preferences and I'm going to click on my 9x14 hoop. Maybe because we opened that Untitled 2 and it was our 9x9 hoop. I bet you that's why, because it will open up your last hoop that you used. So that moment where I checked the 9x9 hoop, that's why it did it. Because you can see it says, oh, that's the design. It is. It's my 9x9 hoop right here. All right, so I'm going to click on my 9x14 hoop and say, no, I know I'm using my 9x14 hoop. Don't worry, Embrilliance. I know what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to click on this compass button and click on H so I can see all of it. And I'm going to just quickly run through the design elements to see if it did what I hope it did. So there's our placement for our batting, our tack down for our batting, our placement for our main fabric, our tack down for our main fabric. And then we have the 3 quilting designs all separated so that you can have a stop to be able to decide what thread color you want to use. And then we have the firework tail, I'm not sure if that's what it's called, on all of them, and the actual firework on all of them. And all 3 of the placement of the, because these are the ones that are going to be outlined in red. So that's all perfect. That's the firework body. And then the tack down of the firework body. And there's the first one. So remember, this one was separate because this one's going to be outlined in white. So there's our first one of our applique pieces and our tack down. And then let's see. Ah, perfect. I wondered that if it would go right into the next. So that was perfect. All right, so 114, that is our placement for the last 2 fireworks, the tips of the fireworks, and then the tack down of the last 2 fireworks. So that couldn't have been more perfect. It worked out absolutely exactly how we wanted it to. Like I said, I'm in my 9x14 hoop. The design is 6.5 by 14 with them directed this way, just to give you some size information so that you can figure out what hoop will work for you. All right, and then I am going to do a file, save stitch file as, and I'm going to save it. I'm in Oh So Happy right now. That's not what I want. So I'm going to go back to my desktop. Actually, if I go down here, there's my red, white, and bloom, and I'm going to bring it into the embroidery files and into the red, white, and bloom quilt. And I'm going to call this Firework ×3. All right. And then I'm going to add 9x14 hoop just because I'm not going to stitch it right now. I need to go run a couple errands so then I can remember what hoop I decided on. So whatever works for you to remember how to find your design. And then you would take this and transfer it to your USB stick or Wi-Fi, send it to your machine. My Dream Machine, it says it's Wi-Fi enabled, but it doesn't do that. And so I will transfer this to a USB stick very simply. And this all worked out exactly how we wanted it to, so it is ready to get stitching. So let's get ready for some playtime. And how are you doing with your goal? Don't forget to remind me what your goal is, how you're doing with it. Stay focused on a goal. It's really important. These play days, we get to do our embroidery and have fun together, but we also need to be working on ourselves and being our best selves. So my goal is strength. I'm working on strength. It's important for me to build up strength after my body battling cancer, so it's been a struggle to get back, to say the least. So I am doing pretty good though. Every single day I'm walking. Yesterday Archer and I walked, I think, almost 7 miles. Not all at once, we over 2 or 3 walks, I think it was. But that's a lot of walking. And then late last night, so I had to take my bike to the shop and take my embroidery machine to the shop and do a bunch of errands that were last minute and not things I wanted to do. And so I got home late and I didn't get on the bike until almost midnight. It was almost midnight when I got on the bike trainer, and I did a ride in Norway last night. It was pretty cool. I really liked that. It was beautiful. It was very flat. So she put the trainer, the iFit trainer puts on this resistance on your bike. And so it's like you're sludging through peanut butter or mud or something. Just, it's really, really hard. You can feel your legs very, very heavy trying to push through. And so it was a hard ride, but it was beautiful. It was along the Atlantic Ocean. It was the beautiful coast and farmlands, and it was just beautiful. It's so cool that I have this Nordic Track bike that makes it so that I can utilize these iFit trainers and go riding in places I'll never go in my lifetime. I certainly would love to, but I'm sure I won't. And so I get to see these beautiful places and work with these amazing trainers. And so I felt really good. I only did the one workout last night since it was so late, but I was pretty happy that I made it work. I got it in. So even though I would rather have gone to bed or just relax after a full day, and yet I made it work. So to me, that is really good. I'm proud of myself for that. So I want to hear what you're proud of yourself and how you're doing with your goal. And my shirt today is my gnome shirt, hanging with my gnomies. This is a Planet Applique design, if I recall correctly, and it's a really fun design. I used fleece for the beards on the gnomes and fun fabrics just to change it up and make it interesting. And the hanging with my gnomies wording is just a very simple bean stitch. I think that's what it's called, a bean stitch. Very simple, but it's a really fun shirt. I've always loved this shirt. It's a really fun one. And it actually, I made this at the time that I was working on the Kimberbell gnome event. I don't remember what it was called, but that was actually my very favorite Kimberbell event. I've done a few of them, and that was my favorite. Can you see it there? That's just one part of all the different things we made. We made a gnome bag, and I don't remember all of the things. There were a lot of things. A little apron, if I recall, some fun things. But anyway, so that's my shirt today. I will always add information underneath the video with the direct link of where you can get the design if you're interested in it. And the shirt actually is from Amazon. It's one of my very favorite shirts, and it comes in several colors. I will add a link to that as well. I will put it here, the link for the shirt. It's a great shirt to embroider on. There's a little stretch to it, and it's very, very easy to hoop and to embroider on, and it's got a cute little hood, and like I said, it comes in a few colors. I've got it in a few colors, so it's a great shirt for embroidering. If you haven't tried embroidering on a shirt yet, I highly recommend it. Archer, come! Archer! Archer, come! Come on! Oh, so good. Oh, so good. What a good boy.